This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Joe Lawala-Chul and Ruben Tarangi has something to say about it as well. Peatling and Creek having a chat about it now too.
We'll see you game 3.
Bubba. Good night, Phoenix. The Phoenix forced a turnover at halfway.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
Creek
sir.
took it
yes,
wide.
Here we go.
And Mason Peatling barrels him
Here we
after
go.
it, and tempers have flared in Throwdown 13.
I think there's a genuine dislike from our end. They may not respect us enough to dislike us right now, but I hope it happens soon.
Golding is here. This time, got it! Wow. Eda Bucket, who do you go to? The ultimate hype man.
We need a replay on that, but I'm CG43.
Great pass, great finish. Oh, how about that? This game's had everything.
Welcome to a sold-out John Cain Arena, not a spare seat in the house. And no surprise, there is no greater spectacle in Victorian basketball than when Melbourne United come up against the South East Melbourne Phoenix in Throwdown 17. Now the tables, well, they've been turned. Melbourne United more than happy to come into this one as the powerhouse, but the South East Melbourne Phoenix rolling with 4 in a row. Never in the history of this franchise have they won 5 in a row, and it is on Melbourne United to break that streak. I'm here with NBL legend Leonard Copeland. It's up to that man right there, Chris Golding. He needs to fire up. Who else needs to work for this Melbourne United team?
Well, let me tell you something. If anybody can do it, he can do it. This guy's had a 50-piece in this building. I think you got to get him the ball early, get him the ball so he can knock down those threes, get this crowd involved. Like you said, there's not an empty seat in the house. Get these people behind you and get going.
Well, you know how it works in sport. The players get the credit, but the coaches get the blame. And none other than Dean Vickerman this year. His seat is hotter than ever, while Simon Mitchell, well, he just reclines in a nice cold lazy because he is right now rolling with 4 in a row ever since Gary Brown got in this team. Dean Vickerman, look, how much is he to blame right now? I say little, but it's up for judgment.
Well, look, as a player, you never want to blame your coach. You're the ones that's playing the ball, playing basketball. You're the ones that are putting the ball in the hole. I think Dean Vickerman will be fine because he knows this game. He's won championships. He's just got to fire these guys up, get them going. Once they win a couple in a row, Melbourne United will be fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's Simon Mitchell. He's the man right now that is just kicking back ever since Gary Brown got in this lineup. He'd been relying a little bit too much on Mitch Creek, but Gary Brown, they needed a point guard, and they got none better in Gary Brown.
He did say this guy's his closer. Get the ball to this guy and let him go to work. And he's brought stability to this team. He gets the guys involved. He passes the ball well. He can shoot. He can score. And they're 4-0 since he's gotten here.
Well, it's become one of the best rivalries on the Australian sporting landscape. And you look at that, Melbourne United have the wood on the Phoenix. They're going to look to turn the tables. But the biggest, there has not been a single play that has summed up this rivalry more than this emphatic dunk from Mitch Creek that led to a throwdown. The fans, the coaches, the players, it's on, and we are set for fireworks tonight.
Let me tell you something. I get goosebumps watching that dunk because it brings back memories of us playing against the Magic. It's one of those games where everybody's fired up, every fan is fired up. You're fighting for sponsorship dollars. You're fighting for car parks. You know what I mean? So this is a real match, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, the Phoenix have been on fire ever since Gary Brown got back in that team. Well, have a look at the teams that they've been able to knock off. Now, I'm not going to jump out and say that they've been world beaters because you look at a lot of these teams down the bottom of the table except for the New Zealand Breakers, but a win in this league is a win.
Hey, and I'll take it. When you can win 4 games in a row in this league, you're doing something right because the league's so level, it's so even. So you never know what you're going to get at any given night. But the fact that these guys are playing hard and winning is a plus.
Well, there's no need to throw upstairs when you can throw courtside to the great man, Jack Heverin, Liam Santamaria, and the GOAT, Andrew Gaze.
Absolutely sensational, Felix. Thank you very much to you and Leonard Copeland. Great to have Andrew Gaze and Liam Santamaria courtside for this one. Champions starting 5, Liam, for Melbourne United we just saw. The big story, though, is the South East Melbourne Phoenix, their champion starting lineup today without Kyle Adnam, who tested positive for COVID, Joe Chi out with a calf injury, and in the warm-up, Ryan Brockhoff has injured a hamstring.
Yeah, dramatic scenes early doors. So Ruben Tarangi comes in, and he'll guard Chris Golding right off the opening tip.
Throwdown 17 underway at John Cain Arena. Melbourne have won the last 3 between these two teams, but are coming off their biggest loss of the season on Friday night. And that's less than ideal to start with for them.
No, it's not the start they want. They're going to go for a little backdoor play, and that speaks to what Leonard Copeland was talking about, trying to get Chris Golding going on early. And don't just rely on him spraying the three. You know, they're going to overplay. They tried to pick him off, but Isaac Humphries with the travel trying to get it to him.
Phoenix have won 4 in a row. They are one of the hottest teams in the competition right now. And there's Gary Brown. 4 games, 4 wins. He's been vital for them. Trey Kell from the elbow. That's off target. Rattan Mace up ahead for Melbourne United. Is Dave Aquera starting again this afternoon? 9 on the shot clock. Illy gets down low, threw it up for Humphries. The big man can't finish off, but it was last touch Southeast Melbourne.
Wasn't that disaster with this Friday night against Cairns? It was Isaac Humphries that was the standout, 8 of 10 from the field. And the 2 he missed were bunnies around the basket. So another cheap look, and Chris Golding can't finish off an easy one. So perhaps a little bit of nerves at both ends of the floor.
Oh, not surprising. Big crowd, big atmosphere in John Cain Arena.
Hard foul. Golding got his money's worth on Alan Williams, but has come up worse for wear. Let's take another look here.
See it on the Amy replay. Good drop-off pass from Tarangi, and you're right. Big, strong foul from Golding. That'll hit the deck hard.
And that'll put Alan Williams on the free throw line. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists in their win last weekend over Adelaide.
He was really good, Alan Williams, especially down the stretch. We spoke a lot about Trey Kell, 20 points in the 4th quarter and overtime, but a lot of that came through Alan Williams' post touches. Draws the double team, kicks it out, finds the open shooter.
He makes both to start the game. What would the week have looked like, or the last 2 days, I should say, sorry, for Melbourne United, Andrew Gaze?
Well,
since their absolute aberration on Friday night.
Well, that's right. They did their review in Cairns, so they took care of that and they dusted that off, and before the game allegedly didn't even speak about that Cairns result. I think they're prepared to put that away as Chris Golding turns the ball over. Sometimes that's what you do, just you try and finish it off, and theirs looks like a goaltend by Isaac Humphries, and it's Dean Vickerman. I think he wants to challenge it.
No, I don't think he's happy with his team. He's not happy with the energy that they've brought coming out. The turnover down this end, Chris Golding, Mitch Creek jumping out, and Vickerman is prone to do this. If the energy isn't there, if the execution and the attention to the scout isn't there early, he'll call a timeout, he'll stand him up like he's doing right now. Mike's out, and he'll give him a serve.
And that means that we can't take a listen to this one. What we can do is take a listen to Mitch Creek, who caught up with Leonard Copeland pre-game.
Now, Mitch, full house, 10,000 people. What does the throwdown mean for you?
It's kind of the epitome of basketball. It's why you play. You know, 2 of the same, you know, state-born teams that want to go out there and play hard, and you know, there's been a fierce rivalry. There's been moments that, you know, define seasons and have been heard across the world. So when you get this kind of atmosphere, it's all you really want as a basketballer.
Do you, in fact, dislike this team?
I do not dislike anyone in this world. You know that. That's it's a butter-up question. But look, you know, I don't like any team, and if you're against us, you're against us. It's that easy for us. So we know there's a rivalry here, but we're just out here to play basketball and hopefully get a win.
Oh, there's a rivalry. Don't worry about that. There is a genuine rivalry, and that man has been in the thick of all of it.
Well, I just hope the medics are on standby, because I've seen Dean Vickerman give the sprays before, but that was one of the most animated sprays I've seen. A coach hit. The hands were going, the face was beetroot.
We were only a couple of feet away from that. We were in danger of coughing saliva at one point.
He's clearly not happy with a few things very early on, and it's not just, if he hadn't seen what he'd seen on Friday, I doubt very much he'd be as animated as what he was. He knows he's got to correct this situation quickly, and clearly not happy with the first few possessions.
What would have been the biggest concern? The turnovers?
Yeah, and another one, again. And effort's one thing, but geez, that looked like it was a foul, but they're able to get it off and got bailed out. But yeah, I think the effort and the attention to detail on the offensive end.
Here comes Rattan Mays, the lob for Aquera. Melbourne in front.
But a good response out of the timeout. Chris Golding picked the spot to force the turnover on Tarangi, and Return Mays up high for David Aquera above the rim.
We go down to Williams in the low block. Baseline on Humphries forces the big man into a foul.
This is a matchup problem for Melbourne United. Isaac Humphries, they're going to pound it in down low to Alan Williams and really challenge Humphries to stop him in the block.
Well, I think the issue with Isaac is that he should be better when they're on the block. Where we saw on Friday, it's when he was being taken off the dribble. Keanu Pinder with the drives and the way in which he could get to the basket. Down low, he should be half running it too easy. Williams catches it too deep and then just backs him into his spot. You've got to do better than that.
72% free throw shooter, Alan Williams. This is a Melbourne home game. So Berger's on the line. Just not quite yet.
Well, it's a Melbourne home game, but after the Kings won today, they beat the Breakers. 23 of the last 32 games have been won by the road team. So perhaps the advantage is down the other end, although they both play in the same building.
Maybe. 5 apiece, just confirming the news. No Kyle Adnam, Ryan Brockhoff or Joe Chee today for South East Melbourne. Brockhoff, only about 30 minutes before tip-off, injured a hamstring in the warm-up, and he won't be there. Kyle Adnam testing positive for COVID this morning.
And the guy that's replaced Brockhoff in the starting lineup, Tarangi, he's just picked up his second foul. Both of them trying to fight over those picks. So in comes Junior Madut. Some early first quarter minutes for the rookie.
Here's Ryan Brockhoff. He'll be anchored to the sidelines this afternoon. No Golding got away from Cal. Good look.
Well, whether the rookie can play or not, when a rookie comes on, the veteran that knows how to shoot it is going to think that, well, it's my time right now to test the rookie out.
And Williams again gets himself down low and forces Melbourne into another foul.
Yeah, they're going at Alan Williams, no doubt about it. And here, keep an eye on Chris Golding here. Trey Kell just gets caught up on that screen, and Mitch Creek not quite there. Got to step up and help out when that's Chris Golding, because that's a catch and splash every time.
And Trey Kell's no rookie. I thought it was before. Here we are at the game, and I'm still getting a little mixed up. But you're right, and I think Chris Golding, he'd be feeling the pressure a little bit as well with not just his form, but the whole situation with Melbourne United. And although he painted as doom and gloom, 4 and 5, it's not like they're completely out of it. It's just the fashion in which they lost that game on Friday that sometimes over-exaggerates the situation the team can be in.
South East Melbourne, 5 wins, 3 losses coming into today. There's Illy. Over the top of Williams. With the withdrawal of Adnam, he's now the only player in Throwdown history to play in every game between these two teams. Such a vital member of this Melbourne United squad. Creek, that space from the elbow, off the back of the iron.
Really good defense from Barlow, just steps up, doesn't want to get driven on by Mitch Creek, forces him into the mid-range jumper.
Barlow, catch and shoot 3, rattles out. And Trey Kell off to Brown, little floater, that's lovely.
Well, that is tough.
That is tough.
You're going full speed and pulling up around that free throw line and a sort of a pushed one-handed shot. That was a really difficult one that Brown gets to fall. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that screen, and Illy took advantage of it.
He was there a long, long time, and Brown went down. Concerns about his shoulder.
Shea Illy just giving a little signal to the bench. He's looking for a breather. Brown at the other end responds.
Stepping up, knocking down shots, Gary Brown. We've been talking about his assists, but scoring right here. And look at this screen from Dave Barlow. Steps up, bang, punch screen. Perfectly set, great contact, and then Illy able to fool the defense, step on through and finish.
Jesse Wagstaff says g'day, because there was a little bit of forward motion there by Dave Barlow.
All that on the Amy replay. Return Mace found it tough on Friday, but had plenty of passengers, and so did that man Tucker. It doesn't get it to go.
He needs to make that. That's as easy as you're going to get, and really should have just went with the left hand. He tried to come back with the right on the other side of the rim and threw himself off balance.
I like the movement though. They have really struggled in the half court executing this season. Melbourne United averaging just 82 points per game, lowest in franchise history, ranking 9th in offense, and sometimes in the half court they get a little stagnant. So right there, Rajon Tucker moving without the ball, giving Rattan Mays an option and cashing in at the stripe.
Just 1 of 4 on Friday night, Rajon Tucker. There were a lot of eyeballs on him, and a lot of that was for the hype that he built up in the pre-season. Just hasn't quite been there so far. Madut, no good on the 3. That's off the head of Mitch Creek and be able to play. Earlier today, if you have just joined us, the Sydney Kings went to New Zealand and won 81-77, but carnage. Rayan Rupert, broken wrist. Xavier Cook's out for the rest of the game, injured. Derek Pardon injured during the game as well. So 3 big names all injured in that earlier game. Rattan Mays in the mid-range.
Well, he had a quiet one on Friday. He's been sensational this season. As Kel can't hit there, Southeast Melbourne will get it back. But Rattan Mays aggressive, making plays offensively. 2 points and 2 assists already.
Shea Ili, the leading scorer for Melbourne. He's got 7.
Looks like they go to a 2-3 zone in this underneath out of bounds play, perhaps.
Brown. Guarded by Newley. Wants to get busy. Steps back. Misses everything. Williams reefs in the rebound. It goes. He's been dominant in this opening quarter.
One of the hardest ones to rebound are those air balls because they're coming fast. And there's the step back. Just been feeling it and just checking it out. There you can see. Oh, Zia. Fouled him with his chin.
Let's get courtside to Lennart.
Be a little unlucky there, coach.
Fellas, I got a question for you. I've never seen Dean Vickerman so animated. He's yelling at the refs. He's yelling at his players. He's yelling at D-Mac on the sidelines. Is he under pressure?
No, I think it's just the competitiveness of the man coming in and wanting to right the ship because it's been a little bit wayward. And we all know how ugly, well, those that played know how hard it is when you cop a whooping down by as many as 40 in that game against Cairns.
Golding wide open.
Timeout, Southeast Melbourne. To stop the momentum. Look, Dean Vickerman still animated. But he's happy with the way his squad has responded in this first quarter after the first couple of possessions. And the Phoenix, they won't want to see Chris Golding getting up and about in transition.
Great game today at John Cain Arena. It is a sellout between Melbourne United and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. It's also the multicultural game. And here's a jersey swap before the game. There's Ariel Hookporty, the German next star, out for the season. And Nani, 4-time Manchester United Premier League champion and now playing with Melbourne Victory. A couple of very, very big names there pre-game. And you can see the jersey that Melbourne United are wearing. It's the 3rd season in a row they've done it. And it's a pattern of all of the flags from across the globe into one design. And it's been a good luck charm for Melbourne United in seasons gone by.
Well, it's a great concept they put together. When you think of Melbourne and the city, I believe the most multicultural of any in Australia. There you can see the uniform and everything that you were talking about, Jack, and the way in which they're trying to be representative. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and good on them for trying to embrace all nationalities, cultures.
And you'll see with Melbourne United's names on the back of their jerseys, the little touch this year is that their names are in the colour of their country. So Australia have got, the Australian players have got gold, the American players have got blue. Xavier Rattan Mays is Canadian, he's got red. The South Sudanese boys have got their name in green today. So just a little touch, but a nice touch by Melbourne. Three-point lead to United. Very little separating these two teams so far. Throwdown 17. And a foul off the ball, and it's Alan Williams again causing chaos.
Well, this is going, sorry, Liam, but this lineup that we're seeing out here right now is going to be the one that gets tested when they've been doing this quite a bit in the last few games, and that's trying to run Brad Newley in the 4 spot, Dave Barlow playing the 5, and it's It's one that didn't work all that successfully against Cairns, but we saw the week before that when they had a couple of wins over Perth and Illawarra. It can create some problems. And against Cairns, it was down the other end of the floor on the defensive end where it probably didn't go as planned.
And they're certainly going to find it tough down low defensively against Alan Williams, against Mitch Creek around the rim. But can Newley and Barlow stretch those guys out down this end of the floor and try to get the advantage?
Dave Barlow moving as he set that pick. Fouls becoming a big issue now for Melbourne in the opening quarter. Barlow will need to come out with 2, which means that Isaac Humphries is back in.
There goes the small ball lineup. Humphries back in, goes straight to Alan Williams.
Quach Malawach in for his first minutes also for Melbourne. Creek, 2 points to his name so far. Shot clock down to 9. Back at Williams, who wants to take it at Humphries. Off the glass, he's got 12.
Well, they got to do a better job of trying to make him catch it further out. Again, Humphries just playing behind, and if he got it doing that, it's almost like Humphries was just retreating there and really concerned about the foul situation, which he's been prone to.
It was a problem for him on Friday night. Return Mays, tough jumper. Creek drags that rebound in, has got options everywhere on the wing. Again, they play through Williams, who swings into the corner. 3 ball no good for Cal. Phoenix by 1. Tucker into the paint.
Good poise from Tucker. The switch wasn't on, so Creek was a step off that play and just had the wherewithal to rise up and knock down the floater.
Creek responds with 2 of his own. He's got 4 points.
I can't remember a player that's so good with both the left and the right at that type of range. That a couple of metres out range is really good, Mitch Creek. And
Shea Illy, David Quera, Chris Golding, all set to check back in. Return Mace, hand in the face from Williams, just did enough. And Brown looks up ahead, explodes to the basket and doesn't land.
Well, here come the rotations. 3 guys coming in, Golding and Illy Aquera back in for Melbourne United. Dane Pinot's going to give Alan Williams a rest. What a first quarter performance it's been from Big Sauce. 12 points and a problem Melbourne United have not been able to solve thus far.
A real headache for him. And I think it goes beyond just the personnel you're going to throw at it. It also comes down to how you're going to play him.
Gary Brown leads the competition in assists, 8.8 a game. Free throw shooting has been okay. Goes 1 of 2 there. No burgers yet for the home fans at John Cain Arena. And Foxwell checks in for Southeast Melbourne. Called for an early foul.
I'm not sure what he did wrong. And Foxwell, of course, getting an opportunity, like we've mentioned, with Cole Adnam out. They throw him into the game, and take a look at it here. Just, well, maybe it was for the trip, maybe connection there with when he was falling down. And we're just having a look at the game clock to make sure that that's on. But this is a high-energy strategy which Phoenix have been using, trying to pick up full court every possession. And the Jack Jumpers are the ones that have been very successful at it. But when you're down on numbers, it's labour-intensive stuff, and that's going to test their will and how effective they can be if they stay with this the entire game.
Melbourne did have their issues on Friday with turnovers. Humphries finishes from underneath the basket.
Made full use of the gather step. Isaac Humphries finishing underneath, and a really good find from Shea Illy. Penetrating and setting up the big.
Creek got Aquera up in the air. Phoenix back on the free throw line. Just go back to Shea Illy, Liam, if we can. It's his third game back today. Didn't play for the majority of the season so far because of concussion symptoms. How can one man be so important for a team? Tell us what Shea Illy offers this group.
Well, we know he's an elite defensive player. You know, runner-up in Defensive Player of the Year voting last season. He was the best sixth man, but he's also just an elite perimeter defender. And that's so important in terms of setting the tone for your team at that end of the floor. Getting up full court, as Drew's been talking about, getting on the ball, making life tough. And he's the king of the hustle play for this Melbourne United squad. So you're right, they have missed his energy at the start of the season. He wasn't at his absolute best on Friday night in Cairns. When he's up and about both ends of the floor, he just brings so much to this squad.
Creek makes both. Gary Brown checks out. Torrey Smith-Milner, a former Melbourne United player who is with South East Melbourne in a top-up capacity this year. Got the call up this morning when Kyle Adnam tested positive for COVID. No stranger to these throwdown situations. Golding with a hand in the face from Cal. Rebound by Dane Pinot. A minute 43 to play in the opening quarter. Foxwell inside, showing no fear. The Phoenix reset. Cal falling away from the basket. That's tough.
Great job, Dane Pinot. That's what he does. That's what he brings. Elite pick and roll defense and offensive rebounding.
Well, that was a great hands there by Isaac Humphries, and the nice touch just puts it on the rim and gets the roll. He is becoming one of the better at the pick and roll game when they're diving. We saw a couple of seasons ago when he played along Josh Giddey, and everyone thinks, well, Josh Giddey's just made this man's career, but he's coming in, and there's Joe Cheek. There's someone who hasn't played a lot this season, but we know what he's capable of. And when you think of rim protection, he can provide that in spades. So they're going to miss him, and particularly for a guy that's came in a little underdone, fitness not great, and then to get an injury now, that it's going to be a longer, much longer process now to get him back to where he is, what we know he's capable of being.
That last possession, Mitch Creek, I expected to see him going at this matchup with David Aquera. Play a little bully ball on the young Melbourne big. Didn't see it a lot in the first few minutes as the Phoenix zeroed in on Alan Williams, but these last few possessions, Creek has been on the attack.
Back out to 4. Equal biggest lead in the game so far. Leonard Copeland courtside.
I got a question for you guys. Now, because Melbourne United are bad on defense and sending the guys to the line, would they consider playing a zone? And I know Gazy hates zone, so I maybe shouldn't have asked that question.
Well, Chris Golding comes in, and he is looking so comfortable. Doesn't look rushed at all, and got off to a great start in this first quarter for him.
Yay or nay, zone?
Not for me.
You would say that anytime, no. Smith-Milner, nice hit.
Oh, that's a big bonus. Simon Mitchell will love that. Comes in, replacing Joe Chi, and knocks down his first look from long range.
4-second differential between game and shot clock. Down to 8 for Illy, guarded by Foxwell. Made something happen. The Phoenix have got 5 seconds themselves. They can't afford to foul. Creek walks into the 3 and wasn't that far away. 2-point game at quarter time. John Cain Arena, a hot start in Throwdown 17. Quarter time in Throwdown 17. The sold-out sign has been up on the door all day. Massive crowd inside John Cain Arena and a fierce start between these two rivals. It's been physical, it's been free-flowing, and it's been a really good game so far. 31-29. The Phoenix lead Melbourne by 2. Liam Santamaria and Andrew Gaze.
It is, and it's almost a turn. In fact, it is a turnover on the inbounds. Wow, that's not great news for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, but what it has been an outstanding shooting contest. Southeast Melbourne at 50% and 33% from the three-point line, 2 of 6, and it's been a white-hot Melbourne United. 66%, 12 of 18, and 4 of 6 from the three-point line. And with shots like that, you'd expect that shooting percentage to be maintained. That was wide open. That's one that Tucker needs to make. And another turnover.
What a sloppy start to the second quarter from the Phoenix. 2 straight turnovers.
Courtside to Leonard Copeland.
Yeah, Dean Vickerman was all about the defense. It was about helping Isaac on the box, digging in, making them beat them from outside.
NBL legend Leonard Copeland courtside with Felix von Hoff. His jersey hangs in the rafters here. Not Felix's, Leonard's. Phoenix trying to be a little bit more careful with the basketball. Not uncharacteristic to start the second. Brown got Illy up in the air. That's all class, except for the finish.
Dane Pino gets called for the reach in. And that last play down the floor we saw with Tucker coming off the screen. It was a set play to get Chris Golding free, and he ended up pretty free, but it was still just a count late. And that's the difference when you've got those elite distributors, those elite point guards. Tucker there, an extra dribble when he probably didn't need it on the designated play, and just a little out of rhythm he gets it, and as such Golding comes up with a miss you'd normally expect him to make.
Talk about Chris Golding. Big minutes here for Owen Foxwell, the youngster, guarding a red-hot Golding, looking to be aggressive.
Golding knows it too. Foxwell did just enough to stay in front. Huge show of faith from Simon Mitchell as well. No Kyle Adnam, no Ryan Brockhoff or Joe Cheat for the Phoenix. Humphries puts that into the stands.
That's one thing Humphries has been doing a good job of. Coming back into the league here with Melbourne United, leading the league in block shots, 1.8 a game. And that's the comfort zone at the defensive end as the help man sliding across, sending it away.
Creek off the inbound, too easy. Timeout Melbourne. Dean Vickerman, much like quarter time, in less than 2 minutes, has seen enough.
Well, they went to a zone. Again, when you have limited preparation time and they haven't got the time perhaps to go through all the scouts, the underneath out of downs play, they try to blow it up by just playing a zone defense. And that time there, the middleman just completely lost vision and was guarding nothing. And as such, an easy 2.
Let's get courtside to Felix von Hoff.
Thank you, Jack. Now, there is few things Australians love more than an elite athlete who performs on the world stage, and right now there is none better than 800-metre legend Peter Bolt. Peter, welcome to the NBL. What's on the menu coming up? I just saw you at the bar, and luckily for those who love athletics, it was a water and an orange juice. Are you set and ready to go?
Yeah, no, we're back in full season, full training, so I've got world champs next year, so we're trying to get ready pretty early.
Nice. Now, as you can see out here, there is a lot of South Sudanese presence, both with Melbourne United and other teams throughout the league, even in the AFL, starting to just really come into this Australian sporting landscape. How special is that?
Man, it's super special. It's diversity, right? That's what we need to see, and it's great to see the boys get some opportunities, and hopefully we can see so much more, you know? We support the boys. I know most of the boys, so it's good to come here and support them. And it's a sellout crowd as well, so you can't have it better than that.
Hey, this energy is amazing. Now, you've run in some of the biggest stadiums and the most electric atmospheres on earth, especially in Tokyo. Well, how does this all compare?
Oh, man, I don't think there was a crowd in Tokyo, just given that with COVID, so this is just unreal, you know, to be part of.
Maybe I was watching the wrong broadcast there, but the crowds are coming. I love it. Anyway, thank you. Let's throw back to the boys.
Two-time Olympian Peter Bolt in the house today.
Well, the World Championships this year, I think, and there was crowds there, so that's where I think Felix was getting a little confused.
He can get a little hazy with times, Felix. When you spend that much time in a nightclub, the days just sort of mould into one, basically.
Yeah, trying to find a wife as well. It's going to be time consuming.
Well, that's coming soon. You didn't know a lot about roses until recently. Golding dumps it inside for Humphries. He's playing a good role.
Really good touch on the finish, and that's what you were talking about, Drewy. Humphries growing in confidence again as a roll man, catching and finishing at the rim.
Kel kicks it out to Foxwell, who relocates. No good. Melbourne down the floor this trip to either tie it up or take the lead. Aquera found Golding. Extra pass, a good one for Tucker. They just have to go. Brown pulls up. Big numbers against him. Tucker. Swings to Aquera. Not a lot happening here for Melbourne. Shot clock at 4. Golding's going to have to invent something.
Wow. Right in front of us there. Got his foot caught up with Gary Brown, but still able to rise up and knock it in.
2 more for Williams. He's got 16.
Golding's looking for a sub too. He's just called over to Dean Vickerman.
Seesawing game at John Cain Arena. Lead changes left and right. Aquera with the treble.
I think for his confidence, if he can start to knock down that shot a little bit more regularly.
Only shooting at 25% for the season. That's good for him, and that's good for Kel.
Kel needed to see one go in as well. He's been having a tough time of it this afternoon.
In their win last week, he was the man who caught fire in the second half. 10 of 19 from the field for the game.
Wow. Back-to-back buckets from Aquera, from range to fade away from mid-range, putting his versatile skill set on display.
He has 7. Melbourne lead by 2. Creek wanted a foul. Nothing coming for the officials. A little momentum swing for Melbourne in the last 90 seconds or so. Humphries stripped.
Another great find by Aquera. He's knocked down those 2 like you mentioned, but the entry pass. And here we see the replay there. Chris Golding just gets his foot a little caught up, but still able to get through and knock it down. And there we see that 3 ball. Nothing but net, showing great confidence.
Chris Golding's feeling it. He's coming out because he's spent. He's moving so hard without the ball, trying to get open every possession because he's hunting shots right now. Wants to get him up, feeling good. He's knocked down 4 triples already. This should be the shortest possible rest. Put his VO2 max to test right here, how quickly he can recover and get back out there.
4-point lead, which is the biggest in the game for Melbourne United. And a combined 60 in the first quarter is the highest ever first quarter score in a throwdown. Just gives you some idea of the intensity that this game's been at right from the very start. Williams on the glass.
Well, that's not on Humphries. If Humphries forced to help that deep and the shot goes up, needs the next rotation to help out on his man and help out on the boards.
That is 18 points for Alan Williams to go with 5 rebounds. Averaging 13.5 a game across the season. Ratan Mays from a long way out. The shot clock ticking down. Brown drives and feeds Williams, no foul. Tips it in for 2 more.
I actually think Isaac Humphries might have got a lot of that. But again, Humphries is forced to help on the penetration, and then that 3rd man rotation either not there or a little slow.
He's a big man and he's causing them big problems, Alan Williams. There he is from the elbow, the touch. Oh, that drops. That's 20.
He's having some kind of first half. Shakes his head and barks a little as he strolls back down the floor. 22 points. He's on 7 of 9 from the field.
Humphries lost the ball. And United get it back. Barker, feet set. Williams drags that one in, and the Phoenix dodge a bullet. No foul call. Humphries went straight up. Williams kept playing and found Smith-Milner.
A little Michael Jordan-style shrug on the way back, saying, they really can't handle me right now. I don't know what they're going to do.
And Isaac Humphries, when he's running back, and a few expletives and adjectives thrown in, but really pleading for a bit of help.
Tired bodies out there already. It's been up and down. Batar Mace works his way up to 5. Brings it back to 1. A rare miss for Williams. 7 of 11 from the field. On the back of that miss, Aquera trying to go coast to coast. Great D from Tarangi. And a foul on Barker. Liam, there are players walking up the floor right now.
Yeah, Humphries is completely spent through. He is gasping for air as he checks out right now.
It is, and a lot of it because of very few fouls. That was only the first foul of the quarter for Melbourne United. Phoenix had only had the 2, so we haven't seen the stoppages. And actually, Dean Vickerman actually went to Lockie Barker and said, we need a foul. Just foul so we can get these subs in.
$50,000 up for grabs this season, thanks to Latrobe Financial and our Legends competition. A few legends in the house today. You can enter at nbl.com.au/legends.
And so with Humphries and Aquera checking out, this is the small ball lineup for Melbourne United, with Alan Williams feeling good down low.
Five on the clock for Creek. He saw a part to the basket. Williams pushed off the ball. They swarmed on him. They had to find a way to keep him off the glass. Melbourne reset. Shot clock at 9 for Illy. Barlow pick and pop. Doesn't get that to go.
Well, they dodged the bullet. The Phoenix there. That's a scout breakdown. Has to be a switch on Dave Barlow pick and pops. And he was wide open on the arc.
55% shooter across the season. It's Garrett Brown. Phoenix back out by 3. Now Golding turns the corner. You know the rest.
That time Williams was just too deep. There's a screener, a stagger. It's like a little zoom action they called, and he's coming off it. And Williams just playing in a real deep drops position, and you can't do that when it's Chris Golding. You've got to be up there mushing your hand up a little bit more to contest with that, because that's just a game of horse for Chris Golding when you're that wide open.
20 points, make that 22 points for Alan Williams in the opening half. It's his highest score so far in the Hungry Jacks NBL. He's scored 18 twice already, but Liam, the big games require the big names to stand up, and this man's been a dominant force at both ends.
Oh, he really has. He's 1 rebound off a 20 and 10 first. In fact, he's got it. It's a 22 and 10 first half double-double. Outstanding. First 2 quarters from Big Sauce, and he's been a massive problem down low. Really, his touch on the floaters, his strength down low, and there you see a little stag face, as if to say they can't handle me right now.
Here he is, just rolling in today on a line bike, so it's not even his bike, just one he found out the front. Just cruising on in. Where's my accreditation?
Well, he knew it was a sellout, so parking was at a premium. So he said, I want to beat the rush home, so I'll just get the little high bike.
I know, we've heard you whinging about it for the last hour already. How long is it going to take me to get out today?
No, this is fantastic. It's great to be at the game, huge atmosphere, and what a game we've been dished up as well. scoring all over the place and really efficient scoring, up and down, highly entertaining one we've got in our hands here this afternoon.
This is the final game in the Hungry Jacks NBL for a week. FIBA window, the next game, November 17, a Thursday night doubleheader. Both of these teams will be in action. Melbourne will play Adelaide. The Phoenix will travel to RAC Arena to play the Wildcats. Foxwell snakes his way in. Jumps out. Last minute before half-time, Golding launches from deep. Gives Golding another opportunity. He's fouled in the act of shooting three. He is feeling it right now. 15 points, and he wants the ball in his hand at every opportunity.
Well, this is what we were talking about hunting shots. When he got some early ones, he knocked them down, and now he started to feel really, really good, Drewy. And every time down the floor, he's looking to run off picks, find little opportunities to get his feet towards the arc and catch and shoot.
And what his teammates are doing are identifying him as well. He's getting some good looks, and he's moving well off the ball. And that's what we've seen the first part of the season, and perhaps a little bit more standing around. But the last couple of weeks, there's Tommy Little. G'day, Tommy.
Very funny man.
Welcome. Sucking into a beverage. Way you go, Tommy. But noticed it more last week, and even at the start, as bad as it was for Melbourne United against Cairns, even that first quarter, you did see them trying to get through their flow action, move the ball, get it side to side, a lot more off the ball movement than what we saw in the first part of the season. So there has been a change in what they've been trying to do over the last couple of weeks. It's been noticeable, particularly on the offensive end.
Golding's got 18 in the first half. Have they made more of an effort to be Golding conscious and get him more involved?
I think absolutely, but they've been doing that previously, and he hasn't necessarily been getting the looks. But just the sheer movement that they're having is providing those opportunities for him.
Brown short on the three. Williams with another rebound. He's fighting everyone off, and that one doesn't go. United will take a lead into halftime. It's just a question for them. By how much? Golding had forever to assess and find Barlow. He's off the front of the iron. Creek gets up ahead.
Ooh.
Easy finish for the Phoenix.
Sure if he was looking to throw that down with a bit more authority.
Now, Illy puts the ball on the floor and is fouled. Nice drive late in the quarter.
Just a hectic pace down the floor to finish this first half. It's been neither team really able to get on top with their defense at any stage throughout this first half. Melbourne having all kinds of trouble around the rim. With the Southeast Melbourne bigs, 8 offensive rebounds, 7 of those for Alan Williams. And the Phoenix, they're having a tough time with Chris Golding right now, getting open. They're in rotations, and he's finding open teammates.
0 from 7 on Friday night, Shea Illy. He struggles. He's been handy in the opening half. That's 10.
Had a busy off-season as well. Split the season with the Sandringham Sabres, playing for Dave Barlow as their head coach.
3.5 seconds for the Phoenix. It can be done. Williams threw it inboard for Creek. Golding from halfway. He's made everything else in the opening half. He's not that far away there. A huge response from Melbourne United. Going down by 25 on Friday night. They take a 3-point lead into halftime and throw down 17.
Certainly, and I think Melbourne United, given what they've come off 2 days ago, they'd be absolutely ecstatic with what they've seen. It's taken a bit of animation from the head coach just to get the spark plugs firing, but they seem to be firing on all cylinders in that first half.
Here's Leonard Copeland with the man of the first half, Alan Williams.
Big fella, 22 and 12 at halftime. Were you a main focus? Is this what you guys were working on coming in here?
Nothing special. Just got out and got to my spots early. teammates found me, the ball found me on the rebounds. We got to do better defensively next half, though, for sure.
What are you expecting in the second half?
A lot of energy. You know, it's a tough place to play. Obviously, it's our home court, but it's their home court today, so it's going against the crowd is tough.
Where did Big Sauce, the name Big Sauce, come from?
My brother gave it to me. Shout out, little bro. Swag and stuff like that, you know.
Good luck for the second half.
What a first half he's had, Alan Williams. 22 points. And Chris Golding wasn't that far away at halftime. And here's just a couple of examples of our Latrobe Legends competition. $50,000 up for grabs. Some fans from all around the country showing you how it can be done. If you could make it from halfway, nbl.com.au/legends. Halftime in Throwdown 17. It's United by 3.
Highlights, and if you're a Melbourne United fan, finally the ball is going through the hole, but one man has shone more than anyone else this half. It is Ant Williams, 22 and 10, an unbelievable performance in the first half.
He's unstoppable. Look, I think they got to find another way to stop him. They got to double team and make him swing that ball outside, because right now he's having his way on that box.
Well, Melbourne United have struggled in the bigs department the entire season so far, but none more so than this afternoon, because he is, as you say, just having his way.
He got Isaac Humphries on the first foul. I think guys are afraid to go at him because he's strong inside. He knows what he's doing. He gets the ball well, moves the ball well, 7 for 12 from the field, 12 rebounds. So he's having his way.
Well, defense has been the loser in the first half. Chris Golding holding the fort for United, and I'll tell you what, Normally I refer to the sport as soccer, but when you have a man the calibre standing next to me, we're going to have to call it football right now, because one of the kings of the world game, Nani, Manchester United legend, now playing with Melbourne Victory here. Portuguese superstar, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what do you think of the atmosphere here? You played at Old Trafford, which is one of the most daunting venues for an athlete to play at. What's the energy like in here compared to a venue like that?
It's amazing. It's great energy for the fans. I see there's a lot of excitement from the young lads who came over to support Melbourne United. So for me as well, with my son, I'm here. I'm so excited to be on this game. I love to see basket games, so it's nice to be here.
Now, Nanny, have you been to a game? Is this one of your first games? Or have you been to more games in Australia?
Here in Australia is the first time. I wanted to come today because they've been talking a lot about the basket here. They said it's amazing. It's a great atmosphere, so I wanted to try. So I'm glad.
Now, one thing I want to ask as well is that Melbourne United, you say you're going for Melbourne United because they've brought you here. You're a world superstar, one of the best athletes out. They've got you sitting in the second row, not even courtside.
He should be on the bench.
You've got to be going for South East Melbourne today, surely.
They wanted me to hide me a little bit.
Well, you got a jersey before the game as well from Ariel Huckporty, a guy that we hope to be seeing in the NBA as well. Are you going to be wearing that one around the city a little bit?
Yeah, why not?
How you like in Melbourne anyway? How's the city treating you?
Yeah, the treatment is amazing. It's a great experience for me, for my family, so we are so excited to be here. And yes, we are living a new life. So we are trying everything Melbourne can give to us. So basket today, and we'll see what's next.
Well, we've seen a couple of photos here as well. I want to ask you quickly, what's harder, playing under Sir Alex Ferguson or being a father?
Play with Alex Ferguson.
There we go. Well, I'll tell you what, you're an absolute worldwide superstar. We love it when we get guys of your calibre in the venue. Good luck with Melbourne Victory for the rest of the season. We're going to head to a break. Melbourne United look to have found their spark, but Ant Williams and South East Melbourne have something to say about it. We'll see you on the other side.
Go, Daddy!
Welcome to NBL Weekenders, a series where your favourite hoopers will jump off the court and onto the tools with help of the team at Bunnings.
I want the biggest. I'm going to take 2. That gives me a better chance of success.
The most common one is your Murbury jacking.
I reckon this is me. Thanks for your help, Brad. I really appreciate it, mate. Everyone says measure twice, cut once. I'm more of a measure once, cut it, and deal with it later type guy.
I said 540, mate.
Yeah, I know.
What, do we have to take out the concrete or something?
Can't wait to put the finishing touches on it, have it ready for some of that beautiful Melbourne summer weather.
I'm Josh Duash. I was born in Melbourne, grew up in Kilsyth. Growing up as a first-generation South Sudanese man has been pretty standard. I feel like my parents did a good job teaching me, a lot of the values that Australian people value as well. I feel like that set me up for my future. There's always a sense of pride there. I feel like they fled the country to, set up a better life for themselves, number one, and their families. And I feel like it's our job to, repay them. I feel like I'm doing them proud, and I just want to make the most of, what they've provided for me. Yeah, I got 5 siblings, 4 brothers and a sister. I feel like that's where I get my nature from. Like, back then I used to hate losing. Like, to this day I still hate losing. And my little brother plays with me, and he knows the deal. Like, he's not going to beat me. Seeing more South Sudanese people in Australian sport, I think it's huge, both for Sudanese people and for the Australian sport. I feel like it really emphasizes how diverse we are as a country, and I feel like everyone deserves an opportunity. So they're really giving us that opportunity now.
He's a very talented young man, Josh Duash, a development player for the next couple of years with Melbourne United as part of Multicultural game, and it's a big one as well. Full house inside John Cain Arena. Liam Santamaria, Andrew Gaze, courtside for this one. Felix von Hoff and Leonard Copeland with us as well. Great atmosphere, great first half in general.
It certainly has been, and great shooting game, and a contrast too. We've got the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix really trying to go inside where they've been highly successful, and down the other end of the floor, it's been lights out shooting by Melbourne United. In fact, from the three-point line, 8 of 17. So they've been getting it done. Only 2 of 9 from the three-point line, so you can see the difference just in the field goal attempts.
Alan Williams, the story, the first Phoenix import ever to have 20 points, 10 rebounds in a game. He's done it in a half. He's out there to start the third. Humphries, beautiful find from Golding.
Really good find. They missed Humphries early because the Phoenix so Chris Golding aware to begin this second half after he lit him up for 18 in the first.
5 made threes for CG43. Made 6 against New Zealand in round 1, but that was an overtime game. Double comes for Williams. That leaves Tarangi open.
Well, there you see the change right away with Williams dominating that first half. On the catch, they running at him, seeing him double team, just getting it out of his hands.
Williams tips it back out. Barlow retrieves the ball. Humphries trying to get busy on Williams over the top. Gave him just enough room to not give away an early foul in the third quarter. Brown drives over the top of Humphries. Doesn't go, and a foul by Williams.
Good energy from Melbourne United at the defensive end, led by Dean Vickerman.
Yeah, he is doing an outstanding job, just getting a little croaky. The voice is suffering, but he's prepared to push through because this game is so important.
I'm not sure he's going to make it through 4 quarters, Drewy. He might need a fisherman's friend along the way.
The urgency, I think, has been shown with these Melbourne United players on the big stage in front of their home fans, mostly their home fans. I'm sure that a few Phoenix fans would have snuck in. Wow, that's really easy. And to start this third period, it has been the way in which the Melbourne United have been able to get to the rim.
They are a good third quarter team, Melbourne. They average a little under 21 points in this term across the season.
Everything going for Williams that time. I'm not even sure he looked up. He just threw it and let the muscle memory take control and kisses off the glass for another 2.
So what can they change guarding Williams in this third quarter?
Well, I think it's going to look at these stats and everyone will point the finger at Isaac Humphries. Humphries is doing a lot of the helping out as well. And we saw already that they had made that change when he catches it on the low block. They're going to send a hard double, try and get him out of his hands.
Golding pushes up ahead, blows past everyone and scores.
Oh, defensive transition. They look flat-footed, and rightly so. They call a timeout just to try and address the urgency it's going to require to get this win here this afternoon.
A very disappointed Simon Mitchell. Hands on hips to start the third quarter. It's not the way that the team in green were looking to get things going. Simon Mitchell coaching against a man that he's known for a very, very long time in Dean Vickerman. These two go right the way back, as you can see here, to the under-20s from 1990, representing Victoria. Some famous faces there. There they are too, with the Melbourne Tigers. And, well, gee, have you ever seen anything more unnatural in your entire life?
Okay.
Did you know what you were doing there?
My word, I did. I was holding two vicious tigers and just trying to not let them claw their way through me. You can see them trying to grab the jersey.
Are they scratching you?
And hey, let me tell you, Darren Lucas was a lot more scratchier than those tigers, I tell you. But no, there it is. That was a great day. And I remember that the tiger, one of them actually relieved itself and went on my shoe.
Oh, hang on.
And back then I was wearing the ponies. I thought, oh, this is some sort of omen. And I think I said, well, I'll leave it on there. Just tidy it up a little bit. Leave it on there as a bit of good luck.
Okay.
I think we went 0-3. I said, wipe that straight off.
There were two tigers loose during the week in Sydney. They might have needed your expertise. So a question asked of South East Melbourne to start the third quarter. And Golding picks the pocket of Tarangi. Walks into the three. There's Tucker. Swoops on that loose ball. Golding. Little handoff to Humphries. It doesn't go.
Jeez.
What a start to this quarter it is.
Big time start for Melbourne United in particular. Chris Golding, and the activity defensively just picks his pocket. So, excuse me, here on the Amy replay, and I'm just going to take those cookies, and he's off to the races.
Well, it is, and I don't know whether it was just the extended defense or why Tarangi was given the point guard duties. I assume coming out of the timeout that they were just trying to get into a set, and Chris Golding does a good job of making him pay and putting some pressure on. Good hands.
There were 10 lead changes in the first half. The biggest lead by either team was 4. So the 9-point lead that Melbourne now have is a significant one in the scheme of the game. It's been 8 points to 2. Quarter number 3. Back up top to Tarangi. Melbourne have clamped down defensively. Brown with a hand in the face. Great D from Golding. Ratan Mays reels it in. Tucker foul.
Well, nothing happening for the Phoenix offensively. That was a long possession where they really didn't get any kind of advantage. And then a late triple.
Your box. I've got to give you a warning. I don't care.
Avery's just given Dean Vickerman a warning right in front of us for stepping out of his box, but that's where it's starting for Melbourne United. Their energy, their physicality, their intensity defensively, and they're able to get out in the open floor and make some things happen.
Dean Vickerman upset. He didn't want that foul, and that's what he was screaming when they don't call the fouls. Now he's screaming when they do call the fouls, because he thought they had the 3-on-2 and wanted the play on the rim. This is a poor start to this third period on the defensive end. The ease at which Melbourne United are getting to the paint and finishing at the rim would be a real concern for Simon Mitchell.
Double-figure lead for Melbourne United, coming off the back of their biggest loss of the season on Friday night to the Cairns Taipans. Madut sent packing by Humphries. And Golding runs the floor, the catch and the finish. That's a 13-point lead.
That was as good a pass as you would ever want to see from Ratan Mays. Just silver service for Chris Golding, and it had to be perfect, and it was.
The Phoenix have all sorts of problems.
Here's the Amy replay. Pass to Madut, a little hesitation, the shot fake, and then bang. Humphries sends that away. And a pass from Ratan Mays. As you said, look at the sprint from Golding, left of your screen. Right on point, great catch, great finish. Melbourne United up by 13 all of a sudden.
Chris Golding has 22 of them.
And they've subbed him out.
That's a setback. If you're a United fan.
He's not going to be out for long.
Little break for the Phoenix. Brown got away from Tucker.
Now, it's a tough shot, but defensively, all sorts of pressure. And if they're the types of shots that they're going to rely on to get back into this one, then it's going to be a long afternoon for Phoenix.
Nice hands from Foxwell. Strips Ratan Mays, and Creek goes to the other end, lays it up. Timeout Melbourne. Little swing swing in momentum starting to happen in the favour of the Phoenix.
And Dean Vickerman wants to stomp on it. Quick timeout. He's upset again. Geez, no one more intense in this building than Dean Vickerman tonight on the back of that big, big loss on Friday.
And now Simon Mitchell getting a warning for some of his language towards the officials as well. It's an intense game. It's physical. It's Throwdown 17, I should say. Let's get courtside to Felix von Hoff.
Thank you, Jack. Now, we'll just try not to split my pants sitting in this little position here, but I'm here with one of the funniest men on the planet, Tommy Little. Is this your first time to the NBL?
No, I was a Melbourne Tigers member since when I was 5 years old. But this pants splitting is not what you need to worry about. It's the moose knuckle that I'm seeing from this side.
Hey, that's a compliment, I'll take that. Now, before we just saw you chugging what appeared to be what would be usually the beer chug in American sports, was that champagne?
It was, and it was disgusting. But I panicked, and I was on the big screen, and I thought people aren't going to be able to see my beer. And so, thankfully, my friend Steph, who is loose, just handed me her wine, and I regret everything, and don't do that at home.
Well, here we are thinking, you know what, he's just lost touch with reality. He's chugging the champagne now, and now tell us quickly, have you got any shows coming up or anything? You're the funniest man, I reckon, in town. You've got to have something on the horizon.
Sunny Coast next weekend, Newcastle the weekend after. If you live somewhere in this country, I'm coming to tell jokes to you at some point in the future.
Perfect, I'll guarantee you'll be laughing. Thanks for joining us, Tommy.
Big crowd at John Cain Arena, not a spare seat available. I think there's been a few people that have been ringing their friends and their contacts trying to get a ticket for this one. 64-55. The Phoenix with a little fight back, scored the last four. Tucker takes it inside and draws a foul.
Really good execution from Melbourne United. That's the play they ran against Perth that resulted in that big throwdown from Tucker coming down the right side of the floor. A little weave action. Phoenix just completely get lost defensively, and Tucker gets downhill and to the free throw line.
Well, it is, and that's one of those ones that we've seen Melbourne run quite regularly throughout the course of the season, and that's where, as a coach, make no mistake about it, Simon Mitchell would have prepared his players for that play. But in the heat of the battle, 10,000 in the house, a little fatigued, dealing with a bit of a significant run, I should say, by Melbourne United, and the defense falls asleep.
Pushes it back out to double figures. Some extended pressure on Junior Maduit. It's been the third quarter. It's belonged to Melbourne United. It's down to 5 minutes left in it. Creek has barely seen it in this third term. Extra pass ends up with Junior Maduit. Parker pounces on that loose ball. Maduit fouls Humphries on the floor.
Good foul. He was in all kinds of trouble.
That's right.
Junior Maduit
did the right thing.
It's Jordan Caroline sitting on the bench, keeping an eye on things. The hamstring injury, keeping him out right now.
A lot of talk about potential replacement players.
What do you think?
Well, I reckon I've heard DJ Newbill's name mentioned a lot. Now, whether that's just people just speculating. Don't look at me like that, Liam. Don't look at me like that. You've heard it more than I have.
That's an interesting name.
But who knows? You go on a little tear, win 5 or 6 in a row, and maybe they reevaluate.
Point named Jalen Adams floating around as well now, who might be pretty handy. Let's get courtside to Lennard.
I got a question for you guys. Was I watching this game, or Chris Goulding, was he on fire? Where is he? Could you imagine Andrew Gaze getting taken out of the game after knocking down a couple of jump shots?
No, sir. It's just got a bit of a margin, and when you're trying to find the energy they want to play at, trying to find a little bit of minutes, and that to me is a push-off, could be a...
I thought it was going to be a flop.
A flop, that's what I was going to say. Could have been a flop.
Another look at it. He went down quick, Gary Brown. Keep an eye top of your screen on the right-hand side. Little push-off. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
He did push off.
He did push off.
But there was no way he pushed him that hard.
Golly gosh.
Shea Ely comes in for Rattan Mays. His first foul. Nothing to worry about from that side of things. The Phoenix 4-game winning streak, they've never been down by 13 at any stage. Brown drives and scores.
Good attack from Brown, because they're not leaving Mitch Creek as the help man on those pick and roll actions. So if there's no help, turn the corner, get downhill. Brown finishes over the top.
12 points for his afternoon. Take from Brad Newley. Quick response at the other end. That's one thing Melbourne have been able to do really well, Liam, is get a quick bucket after the Phoenix score in quarter number 3. Brad Newley's first points. Throwdown 17. Shot clock at 6. Williams for 3. Got it!
Why not? Having one of those nights. And says, I'll have a look from 3, wide open. And that's one that he's going to probably have to make a few more before they really make too many adjustments on him from the three-point line.
Humphries used his body well. Found a bit of space and pushes it back to 9. This time, Tucker called for Melbourne's third of the quarter.
Melbourne bringing a couple more changes here. Barlow and Aquera in, Humphries and Newley out, and I was wondering whether Chris Golding was going to join that party, and he is.
It's Fifi Box in the crowd. Long-time Melbourne radio personality.
That's live on TV.
All the stars are out today.
Golding comes back in. Okwambaka comes out. Melbourne go right back to it.
Another foul called on Melbourne, and you just wonder whether Dean Vickerman might consider this.
51. Kiss. Thank you.
Well, it's as soft a foul as you'll ever want to see, but I guess he did come over the shoulder a little bit. Not sure that that was the cause of why he lost the ball. That's a guy I think get going. Mitch Creek is one that he's been well guarded. Foxwell doing his best to keep Shea Ely in front, gets called for the foul. And I see this lineup, and this is, for me, is key perfectly, this lineup that Melbourne United have got to really get the ball into Creek's hands. So we take a look at the little foul, just not quite in position.
Well, Mitch Creek is one, for sure, to go out with this lineup. They've been having a difficult time getting him involved in this third quarter. Trey Kell is the other. Missed that shot right there and has been really quiet this afternoon. 4 points, 2 of 8 from the field, no assists. Just has not really been able to get himself going at all this afternoon.
Well, it feels very similar to last Sunday, Liam, but they found a way in the back end of the game to get him involved.
Well, he had 4 points at three-quarter time and ended with 24 when they beat Adelaide in overtime. A big part of that was those post catches for Alan Williams. We spoke about it early, forcing double teams, and then the ball kick was finding Trey Kell on the arc. So far today, he hasn't been able to knock him down.
Ely goes 2 of 2. Leads back to 11, and Shea Ely's got 14. His third game back, third game of the season. Hasn't taken him long to find his groove once again. Kell into the lane. Aquera got a piece of that. And then a foul. We'll see Tucker.
And we're talking, you just spoke about Kell, and I think he's feeling it as well. He's trying to inject himself in the game, but this is probably not the way for him to do it. Surrounded, just drives into a crowd, and Dane Pino, it's a double whammy. Not only is it going to be the foul, there we see all sorts of traffic, and then Dane Pino just brings the arm down ever so slightly and gets called for the foul. I'm going to walk the other end for a couple of freebies.
I get the sense Simon Mitchell probably called that play, called that number for Trey Kell.
Here's a competition that you want to be involved in. As Tucker shoots free throws, misses the first. NBL.com.au/WinMG, the brand new spanking ZSEV electric number. It'd look good in the Santa Maria household.
Tell you what, it's a beautiful looking piece of machinery. Gary Brown, he's been put in the Shea Yili Throwdown. A couple of possessions here in this third quarter.
Well, they're doing everything they can to take it out of his hands, because when you look at the distributors, the guys that can run the team, there's not too many out there for Phoenix.
Creek forces Aquera into a foul. Melbourne not happy with that one either. And that will be free throws for Mitch Creek, who's playing through a foot injury at the moment, had a disrupted start.
Well, that was a foul
this season.
The grab, the hold, was the one that he would have been called for. I know you can hear Dean Beacom. Oh, well, I can hear Dean Beacom in the background. I can do in the audience can as well. But you can't do that. He just keeps his hands out. Just keep your hands out. Slide those feet, because the feet weren't in terrible position. They were sliding and maybe a little late, but it was the hands that brought him undone.
Yeah, Vickerman's working the officials about Mitch Creek in particular, isn't he?
Yeah.
And every time he drives the lane, you guys give him a whistle.
18 points for Mitch Creek, their leading scorer, and the leading scorer in the game is Alan Williams with 25. But only 3 of those have come in the third quarter. Melbourne have done a good job of quelling his influence to the point where he's not out on the floor right now. Shot clock down to 4. Aquera pulls up over the top of Pinot. Illy on the O glass gives Melbourne another chance. Trying to find a way through and past Mitch Creek. Instead involves Aquera. And one.
Dane Pinot gets called for the foul. Tried to get his hands out of there, but wasn't quick enough. And just the touches, slight touch on the reach-in, gets called for the foul.
Real hand in the cookie jar type of stuff here from Dane Pinot. Look at him, put him behind his back, say, no, Mum, it wasn't me.
But we know it was you. Heard that one before? Minute 40 left. This lead is still double figures. Melbourne have put themselves in a fantastic position as we turn for the home. The fourth quarter not far away.
Williams is the other one. It's such a critical stage. He's had a fairly decent stint on the bench as well. Oh my. Aquera. He just missed one a couple of possessions ago. Still doesn't shy away from it.
It's now out to 16. Phoenix have got a huge problem. Here might be the answer. Creek drains a big 3 late in the quarter. It keeps them in the hunt. Rattan Mays goes himself. Quick response with a 3. Shot clock at 10. Time for Brown to get creative. He swings to Tarangi in the corner. That's not going to be there. One shot for United. Shot clock switched off. They've taken a 3-point lead and have pushed it out to 16 currently. One last chance to extend that further. Rattan Mays from deep. Just rattles out. 83 to 67 at three-quarter time. Melbourne United make their move. Fourth quarter in Throwdown 17 is coming up next on Sunday Hoops. 6-point lead for Melbourne United at three-quarter time in Throwdown 17. The Phoenix went to sleep in that third quarter. Maybe they need some more of that. There's their leading scorer, Alan Williams, and Mitch Creek starting to have an influence in that third quarter as well. He's got himself up to 21, but if they're going to come back from here, the Phoenix, they're going to have to go the long way around the mountain to do it.
Well, they certainly are, and what it is that the Melbourne United's defence has been really good. 18 points in the second, 18 points in the third, and you're just trying to figure out where the scoring's going to come from for the volume that they need. And this is where that absence of not having Ryan Brokoff, who the last couple of rounds has been instant offense for him, shooting at an incredible clip, and not having him here this afternoon is a big out.
We saw David Aquera. Who are those children just scabbing some free seats today?
Put the wine down. What are you doing? No, they're that's my kids. Some of my kids. Thank you to Melbourne United. They sent out the invitation.
Did they?
Have the kids come along.
Paul Melinda couldn't get a seat.
She's otherwise occupied. Little prior commitment, but no, it's to tell you what, they do a fantastic job here at Melbourne United, as all the clubs do around the country. The way in which the game presentation, it's been a long, long, long time since I've actually been at a game. It feels called a lot of games.
Forgot where to go. Creek fighting hard. Melbourne have picked up 2 fouls in 15 seconds.
The frustration just continues to build for Dean Vickham, and Mitch Creek again drawing the whistle. They got all kinds of whistles in that first quarter, the Phoenix, when they were on top. They shot 15 free throws in that first term, and they only shot 2 across the next 2 quarters. Creek right back to the stripe here, but Melbourne United have turned their defense around since that opening term and have bodied up but been much more solid. Everything's been hard work for the Phoenix.
Let's get to Felix von Hoff.
Yeah, well, boys, Dean Vickham in that last quarter break was a real don't fix it if it ain't broken type setup. Chris Golding and David Barlow both harping, do not let up, do not let up. So you'll probably be a little bit disappointed with this 2-foul start, but definitely as the burgers go off. There we go. Don't fix if it ain't broken from Dean Vickham.
Code word is Throwdown. Burgers for Victorian basketball fans. You can't lose if you're a fan of Victorian basketball. You're getting a burger all the same. Copes, you were taking a listen to the Phoenix at three-quarter time.
The talk came from Mitch Creek. He said, boys, we're letting ourselves down. We've won 4 games in a row. Let's continue to do what we've been doing. Get the ball inside and make them play tough defense.
It's 3 fouls already for Melbourne. Could be a problem for them later in the game.
They bring Isaac Humphries back in, and what he does do, he protects the rim a little bit more on those drives that we've seen to start this fourth period.
Illy gets after that loose ball. Cal knocks it out of play.
And Humphries, you look at his numbers, and his scoring has been really good, but he's only got the 2 rebounds for the game, but that undersells what he's brought to this game. He's been plenty of hustle. A lot of the times the issues hasn't been exclusively his problems when you think about Williams, and I think Humphries has had a decent outing.
Ratan Mays tried to get Humphries involved. Instead, went himself. No foul call. Kel misses Creek with the pass. Gary Brown to the boos of Melbourne United fans. Williams foul. It goes. 1 to come.
Too big, too strong on the finish there. Got the little step, got his shoulder past Humphries. Good find from Gary Brown here. Has a good little duck in there, rolling towards the rim, and then up through the contact. Kisses it off the glass.
It is, and this next 3 minutes really determines the game. The Phoenix, they've got to find a way to continue to get some stops, come down and score, get this in the single digits, and try to have Melbourne United under a little bit more pressure on the offensive end, and scoreboard pressure I'm talking about as well.
And it's free throws the rest of the way for the Phoenix. That's 4 fouls in a minute and change on Melbourne United. Got to continue to put heat on the rim and challenge the officials.
No whistle there. for Shea Illy. Melbourne wanted a foul. Phoenix said it was last touched. Simon Mitchell contemplating a review.
Geez, you've got to be quick. Your video guy's under all sorts of pressure.
Ford Mabry said, throw it in. Let's go. Tucker steps into the three. Not happening for him again today. 1 of 4, Rajon Tucker. Which were his numbers from Friday night. That'll be a travel.
Williams claims he got it out, but he got it out, I think, once his feet had jumped back on the ground.
So for youngsters watching at home, Andrew Gaze, or for those coaching teams, when you're down double digits to start a last quarter, how do you think your way through and not panic and just try and get everything up in the first couple of minutes?
Well, it starts with your defense, because you've got to be realistic about what the numbers say and how many, even if you have a great offensive game, how many you can score. And when you're down 14 or 16, you've got to be working on saying, well, best case scenario, we've got to try and hold this team to like a 12 or 14-point quarter if you're going to have a chance. And Team Vickerman is about to lose it. Well, he's already lost it. He's about to lose it to a new level.
He really is.
So he lost it, he found it, and he's going to lose it again.
Lose it again. Creaky here going to the stripe for his 9th and 10th attempts. Alan Williams already at that number. But you're right, Drew. If you're down double digits and you trade buckets, you're going to lose. So 100% that's got to be the message. It's got to start at the defensive end. The only hope the Phoenix have from here is if they get a whole bunch of stops in a row and charge back in.
And get hot down the other end. Make a few shots. And that's why it's also not what you're doing defensively, and certainly you've got to have, as we've spoken about, physicality that he's going to need, but it's also that scoreboard pressure. You get it down to 7 or 8, and it's a lot harder to make those shots when they're a bit more, when there's less breathing room for the offense.
Brown comes out. Melbourne haven't scored so far in the 4th quarter.
Key time for Gary Brown to be coming out.
A little surprised that they take Gary Brown out at this stage, right now, in the context of what we've got.
The only bench points the Phoenix have got in the game have all come from Torrey Smith-Milner with 5. They are depleted. Well down on men today. Golding high, arcing off the glass. Gives Melbourne their first points of this 4th and final quarter. Here's the Amy replay with Golding.
It's a great touch. Knew the outstretched hand of the shot blocker was in front of him, and as you said, Jack, that thing high off the glass.
And off the ball down this end, it was Brad Newley just trying to get in the way of Mitch Creek and gets called for a foul. Sends Creek to the line, and he's having some problems.
He's 8 for 11 now.
78% free throw shooter. Playing game number 100 today for South East Melbourne. Second player to hit that milestone. Kyle Adnam did it last weekend. So Simon Mitchell also achieving that milestone last week. There's Danny Minogue in the crowd.
Oh, my. That is a tough shot that Chris Golding comes off. And that's what happens when you get a guy that's as skilled as he has, that's super confident right now. And a travel, the penetration by Tarangi, shuffles, slides the pivot foot.
Timeout, South East Melbourne. This one getting away from them. 88-73 at the Throwdown. Some thinking to do now for the Phoenix. Time's not an enemy for them yet, Liam, but it will start to become a factor.
Yeah, it's pretty much almost there. Just a tick under 7 minutes to go. That's a 15-point margin. Now, credit Melbourne United piling on the points today. This is a team that's only scored 72 on Friday. Had 43 points at three-quarter time. Well,
yes.
Jeez, they're going to hit the triple digits soon enough. And what a great response it's been from them so far. That was a whooping they took in far north Queensland and have bounced back thus far in really impressive fashion.
We've got a lot of veterans, guys that have been around a while, and personal pride, and they're not going to dwell on it. They were just relieved to have an opportunity to erase that from their memory 2 days later. And they get that opportunity. They've answered the question and come out and played with a vigor on the defensive end that they needed to play with.
Sold-out crowd at John Cain Arena, 88-73, 6 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in Throwdown 17. Really, really important next 90 seconds or so, I'd imagine, Andrew Gaze. Otherwise, this one might get away from the Phoenix.
Yeah, right now that the Phoenix have dug themselves a hole here. It's not beyond them, but you're just trying to figure out what we've seen, the trend, particularly in this second half, is their inability to score. They need stops, they need quick scores. And Melbourne United, who just struggled to put points on the board throughout the course of the season, and there's an easy one. That's not what you're looking for. As you see the pressure and just a little back cut, good feed by Isaac Humphries, and Melbourne United only averaging 82 on the season. They're already up to 90, and we've still got a bit over 6 minutes to play.
It's been a huge turnaround from what we saw less than 48 hours ago. Williams forces his way into the paint for a 30-piece. But still, it's at this end of the floor where they need to get on top. Searching for stops, Rattan Mays tees it up.
Oh, big hit. That's real sort of nail in the coffin type of stuff. It's Rattan Mays, who has played a really nice game. 13 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. Golding lighting it up, others getting involved, and he's just been able to find his spots a little bit tonight, more so than he did in Queensland.
Oh, my word, and he hasn't looked anxious. He looks like he's prepared to play through the system, really put the effort in on the defensive end, and knocks down the 3-ball, and Williams is doing the damage on the offensive end, but twice he's been forced into, or the bigs, both bigs have been forced into switches, and Rattan Mays just looked Dane Pinot in the eye and said, thank you very much, here's a 3-ball right in the eye. And he just did the same to Williams on the switch that time. Felt really comfortable.
Foxwell makes both. (93-77). Melbourne have won the last 3 throwdowns and have won 11 of the 16 meetings between these two teams. They're set to make it 12 and 4 in a row. Foxwell stole it away from Golding. Numbers up ahead. Creek doesn't finish. Humphries crashes the glass. United dodge a bullet. Rattan Mays backs it all the way in on the rookie. Feeds Humphries underneath. They look sharp.
Well, what a difference 48 hours makes. And big atmosphere, home fans. And when your pride's been dented, they've responded in a way that would make Dean Vickerman and the coaching staff of Melbourne United very proud of the way in which they've been able to turn it around, the work they've done on the defensive end.
Golding steps out. Hand in the face. It doesn't matter.
Boy.
Another deep one for Chris Golding.
It's party time for the United fans in John Cain Arena, and Chris Golding,
you know, when
leading the way on the dance floor, Drewy.
And any time Chris Golding starts running back and he's pulling facial expressions like you can smell someone that's just farted, you know that he is in the groove.
Drewy
puts a little stink eye. What's the... Not sure if we'll see it. There it is. Oh, who did that?
Well, it's been an explosion from him at the offensive end. No reference there intended.
Come on, you blokes.
He'd had 8 straight, Drewy, with less than 20 points, Chris Golding. First time that kind of run since, 2019 or so. And hit a couple of ones early, got himself feeling good, and has not looked back from there. A 30-piece, his season high, as Melbourne United have piled on the points.
Big names have come to play in this one. And that is the first foul of the quarter for the Phoenix. Melbourne have 8.
And you take nothing away from what Melbourne United have done, and as we've spoken about what they've had to, where they had to come from what we saw on Friday, but certainly no Brockhoff and Joe Chi, the way in which he can protect the rim. There is a little asterisk next to this one for me.
Is there?
A little asterisk, only a small one, because we saw early on this season when Phoenix didn't have some of their guys that they looked a completely different team.
Asterisk is an asterisk, though.
Are there different sizes of asterisks?
There are. There absolutely there are.
Is there a capital asterisk?
No, there's sort of like a real faint one that, you know, maybe if you've just done it freehand, you just haven't put enough crosses through it. But just a real... But you can say that about a lot of teams. You can say that about Cairns on Friday, and look what they did. They came in and really did a number on Melbourne United with a couple of their significant contributors up there. And
go back to Friday night, and I think we know with this competition that it's so even that there are going to be results like Friday night where one team whacks another, and you can do what Melbourne have done and come back today. But did either of you have doubts from what you saw after Friday night with Melbourne? Because it wasn't just the margin, it was the manner of the
body
loss.
language. They looked defeated.
Did you have questions?
I think everyone did. I think anytime you have those things, but like I said during the call, there's not too many teams that haven't experienced that this season. A lot of teams have gone through a whooping, and I think you're going to see more of it. You only have to look at what we were talking about earlier on the amount of road wins we've seen. This has been a season like no other as far as that's concerned.
Golding has 30. Happy to get Tucker involved. Nice finish. He searches for some confidence. Melbourne cracked the ton. 100-83. 17-point lead in. Throwdown 17. Williams out for Brown. A foul for a push.
Chris Golding looks at his watch. Says it's about time we got that call. He's been coming over the back all afternoon.
I think he's just happy to see us. What a little interaction. Good on you, Chris.
Just a little thumbs up to the goat.
Yeah. No, to all of us.
How's it go?
Here it is here, wide open. And just comes up a little short. And over the back on the rebound. Dane Pino checks in for Williams.
There's been a lot discussed about this Melbourne United team. They are going to hit the fever break at 5-5, which is okay. The Phoenix will be 5-4, so it's the game between these two teams. They will meet again very quickly. November 19, they'll play each other next. In a couple of weeks. Barlow knocked it away from Brown. Golding threw it up there for Humphries, who's fouled. It's a victory lap now for Melbourne United.
It's party time. They're enjoying themselves, sharing the ball. High fives, enjoying each other's company. It's a beautiful feeling in a big game. And that's just a good read by Chris Golding. And Isaac Humphries, he was their best player last Friday, and he's got 19 points. He only got the 3 rebounds, but it undersells what he's provided. A lot of energy on the floor, real tough in the on-ball screens when he's rolling to the rim. He's as good as any in the competition right now.
This lead out to 20. Game high right now. Smith-Milner threw it at the cup. Foxwell swatted away pretty quickly. Tucker explosive. And the finish.
Oh, boy, that was explosive. Put the Jets on, got past the defense and the control. Well, we've got to get underneath and finish on the other side.
We do have a problem because Chris Golding has just reached for his groin and has asked for a sub.
Oh, no.
So that's the last thing they need right now.
Kell from the elbow, nice hit. Substitutes for Melbourne United. Zach Triplett, Melly Watson, Char into the game. Golding, Barlow, Tucker, sit down. That is some sort of performance from CG43 in this throwdown.
Outstanding. 30 points, equal game leading scorer, 7 of 12 from long range.
Triplett into the game. Bombs away.
Well, one of the hardest things to do when you're a rookie is to sit there for 38 minutes and get your name called and then come there and your first touch, splash of 3, and that's what he's done throughout his entire career. As a junior, Fakilo, he's a shooter.
He's got the job of trying to guard Trey Cowley. Hasn't had an influence on this game the way that he would have liked. Machar up the floor. Draws contact.
Having a good time, the United fans here. Trey Kell out there, on the other hand, not so much. There's Triplett, as you say, straight in off the bench and goes bang.
Well, that's the thing, and you look at the way this game's played and how South East Melbourne Phoenix and wanted to play in that high scoring first quarter. And it's led to just an explosion. In fact, 108 right now is the highest score of any team this season. I'm not sure, did you already mention that, Jay? So it's, I think it also is reflective of the way in which South East Melbourne Phoenix have played. Full credit to United, they've been up and down and shooting it, but I think it does also have a correlation between the way in which they were out here, the tempo they were playing at, and the way in which they were trying to guard Melbourne United as well.
Highest score of the season, as Julie said. Tisovic checks in for the final minute. And it'll be time for United fans to stand on their feet. Pinot's called for the foul.
I tell you,
Duach with free throws to come.
What a brilliant atmosphere it's been in here. Sold out at John Cain Arena. They've really looked after us here in front row. Still waiting for the cup of tea we ordered for you at half-time, which is a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, that's all right.
But apart from that, Drewy.
No, they're taking care of us, and they've put on a show for the fans here. Melbourne United, predominantly a Melbourne United home game, and not a seat available, completely sold out. And it speaks volumes for the strength of basketball in this city as well.
We were two young basketball fans, Liam, growing up, coming to crosstown rivalry games between the Magic and the Tigers. This is something very special that we've witnessed this afternoon. The game, the quality, the big names, and not one spare seat in the joint.
This is what it's all about. Big games, big crowds, crosstown rivalries. And Melbourne United, the team, the front office, all the corporate partners, everyone will be loving today. To bounce back from such a heavy defeat, so much criticism. People looking up and down their roster, telling them what they need to do. And they come out in front of all their supporters, or at least a big contingent of them, and put on a show.
Now, there's a lot of coaches in the stands, and those that think that they've got the answer.
They're still not done yet, Melbourne. It's Grant Anticevic. Jacks up a late one. Melbourne ball. Fans standing as one. A collective sigh of relief for Melbourne United. On the back of a Friday night belting, they bounce back and go from 25 down 48 hours ago to 25 up in Throwdown 17. An enormous response. And Melbourne United go into the break 5-5.
Big response, big win for the home team, Melbourne United. Chris Goulding leading the way. Footlocker player of the game without a shadow of a doubt. He got him started 3 of 4 from long range in the first quarter. Put 9 on the board, another 9 on the board in the second, and continued to pile it on throughout. 30 points and leads his team to victory.
And we are back to wrap it up on the other side of this. Melbourne wins Throwdown 17, 110-85.
Cometh the moment, cometh the man. When United needed a saviour, it was none other than CG43, Chris Goulding, that stepped up with a 30-point game and a 25-point win for Melbourne United to once again assert dominance in the state of Victoria and lead Melbourne to a much, much needed win.
That's a 50-point turnaround from Friday night. And all credit has to go to Dean Vickerman and these guys who came out and played, and they played for their heart and the jersey and the name on their back. And I'm proud of him.
Well, you've said time and time again, Lennart Copeland, that Chris Goulding is the heart and soul of this team, and there's one easy fix to losing games in Melbourne. It appears to be get CG43 the ball.
Absolutely, because when you're getting him the ball, the crowd feeds off of those threes. He starts with his swagger. They love to see those threes go in, and it gets the boys going, man. So I've said it time and time again, get Goulding the ball, and the team will follow.
Well, Andrew Gaze used the description that I might not use, that you had a little bit of a laugh at that. But I'll tell you what, when he's making those faces up and down the court, you know this team is rolling. But full credit to Ant Williams as well from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Right now, Melbourne are back, but we know how this league works. It's up and down. We're heading to the FIBA window Thursday the 17th. We're back in this arena. We can't wait to see you again.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Hello, welcome to the crossover. Sunday afternoon hoops, Melbourne style, and it's United to get the points against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. And what an emphatic victory it was. 25-point smashing at John Cain Arena. Welcome to the crossover. I'm Drew Jones. Beck Cole from the Southside Flyers is with us, and NBL championship player Damon Lowry. Damon, wake up. It's time to go.
What?
Switch on.
What are you talking about?
You've had a snooze this afternoon.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Get up and about, because Melbourne, are they back?
No, they're not back.
25 points.
They was awesome today. What do you always say? One hot day don't make a summer. They were sensational today. They was awesome. I mean, it's so unpredictable, this league. Anybody can beat anybody, anywhere, on any given day, any given time. So Melbourne United put the beat down on the Phoenix, and look, they deserve every bit of it. And Chris Goulding came out in scintillating form.
So 12 of 17 throwdowns. Melbourne have won. What did you think of United today, Beck?
It was great. Like you just said, seeing CG out there smashing those threes, that's what gets the crowd going. That's what gets the team going. I love seeing Shea back orchestrating the team. But I agree, consistency is key. It's great to have two hot games, but can you put a few of them together?
50-point turnaround. So they lost by 25 points to Cairns. They win by 25 this afternoon. They improved their record to 5-5. Just quickly on Goulding, 30 points. 7 of 12 three-point shooting. It was a big day for Chris Goulding. Let's go to John Cain Arena, because Shea Illy is with us. Shea, thanks for your time. A great win in the throwdown. Tell us what this means to you.
Yeah, it means a lot. Coming from that game up in Cairns, we didn't play too well, and it was good to come out and play like that tonight.
Hey Shea, great to see you back out there leading the team. What is the vibe within the group right now? Because I just think I could see smiles going, everyone getting amongst it. You're 5-5. What's the vibe?
Oh yeah, the vibe's high. Coming back from Cairns, like I said before, it wasn't a great game for us. But yeah, it was good to come out here, and like you said just before that, we need to string a few games together to be a great team. Right now we're not there yet, and hopefully this window we can string chemistry together during trainings.
Shea, good job, man. I just found out you're the only dude that's played in every single throwdown. What are you bringing to the team as opposed to when you were out, and what was the team missing? So what are you adding to the whole thing?
I just looking up at the scoreboard, seeing everyone, most of the boys over single figures, in double figures. That's what we want to see. The scoreboard, everyone scoring, rather than just one or two people. It makes it fun for everyone when everyone's scoring and not just two people.
Shea, how would you describe Chris Goulding when he's in that sort of form?
Yeah, he's awesome.
high caliber player. You know, we need to find him more and get him shots, open shots. You know, he's always stuck in corners, getting top blocked, and yeah, I felt like we did a great job to get him shots tonight.
Shay, well done. Big win. Great to see you back out on court. Enjoy
Cheers.
the break, and we'll see you after.
Thank you.
Shay Illy with us from John Cain Arena. So Chris Golding, when he shoots 7 or more threes, or when they go in, and Melbourne United are on the court, 9-0. So when he knocks down shots, Melbourne win.
Dude can light it up. But he came out today extra aggressive. Like, he was like, you see him sprinting the lane? He doesn't always play with that level of energy. He was like, damn it, I'm going to make sure we are super competitive today. Even though their season looks like it's going this way, he made sure today is going that way.
So question for you, Beck, when you arrive at your games playing for the mighty Southside Flyers, how do you arrive at the venue?
Well, I'm a flyer, so of course I rock up as a flyer gal. You should have seen my outfit last night. Ready to go, look good, feel good, play better.
And what is the sort of vehicle that you arrive at the ground in?
It's an MG sponsored, shout out, but I wish it was an electric bike.
Damon, just before we get to that, you've
I actually get a ride from people.
He should be in a Ferrari. Big Sauce Williams, he's rolled in on the higher lime bicycle. Damon,
come on, Sauce.
Seriously, talk some sense here.
Sauce, come on, man. Get your big ass off that little bike. And where's your helmet at, man? We worried about your safety.
Okay. That's interesting from Sauce Williams. Big foodie, apparently, so maybe he's come straight from the Flinders Lane strip. Anyway, so, big story today. Sydney Kings get 17 road wins in a row. It's this NBL record that keeps rolling and rolling. And Xavier Cook's MVP fancy playing really well in the first half. They're up by 20 points. He throws down a big dunk. He's leading the way for the Kings as per usual. And then disaster strikes for Xavier Cook's injury. Ankle. It doesn't look good for him. Damon.